Get ready, Friar Faithful. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the St. Louis Cardinals in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Cardinals, right-hander Michael McGreevy, and for the Padres, right-hander Randy Vasquez. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 7:10. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We also hear from new Padres Ramon Laureano, Freddy Fermin, and Ryan O'Hearn, all three in the starting lineup here today. And in just a little bit, we check in with Padres radio voice Jesse Agler. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres enter today 61-49. They've won 6 in a row. The last time they've won 7 in a row, their 7-game win streak to begin this season. Meanwhile, the Cardinals come in a game under 500 at 55-56. They're now 6.5 games back of a wild card spot after selling off at the trade deadline. Padres continue to hold the final wild card spot in the National League, a 3-game lead on the Cincinnati Reds. The Padres, after today's score, are just 2.5 games back of the Dodgers for first place in the National League West, with an opportunity today to move it to 2 games. A lot of new faces in the mix last night, but the Padres kept it rolling. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
In the series opener last night, we had a pitcher's duel early on. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres, Matthew Liberatore on the mound for St. Louis. Both guys had very similar outings early. Pivetta a tad better. Pivetta retired the first 12 hitters in a row, perfect through 4. Liberatore gave up just 2 singles through 4. A scoreless game in the 5th inning. Wilson Contreras led off for St. Louis. He hit a solo home run. That made it 1-0. In the bottom half, Liberatore issued a 1-out walk to Jake Cronenworth. Jose Iglesias was next.
Cronenworth, very big lead over there. He's stolen 2 bases in 3 tries. Not running, and a slow grounder to third. Charged by Gorman. Only plays to first base, and it's off Contreras' glove. It'll roll into foul territory. Cronenworth speeds to third base. He'll be held there. And thanks to a mistake or 2, and now the ball is thrown away at third. And Cronenworth will come in to score to tie the game. Contreras was just holding the ball. And you figured the Cardinals were going to call time and kind of reset the play. And he threw to third base. Cronenworth maybe baiting him by coming down the line a little bit. And he threw it completely away. And this thing is 1-1 in the 5th.
After all that, 2 throwing errors on the play. We had a 1-1 game. Elias Diaz then dug in.
Iglesias at second, 1 away, 3-2. And Diaz loops it into left center field. That will get down and a base hit. Iglesias speeding around third base. He'll come in to score. Diaz does it again. And the Padres lead for the first time tonight. It's 2-1.
Padres continue to threaten. They loaded the bases with 2 men away for Jackson Merrill.
2-1 the pitch. Merrill swings, lines it up the middle, into center, and a base hit. Diaz has scored. Tatis is on his way. Throw goes to second. It's a 2-run single for Jackson Merrill. And the Padre lead is now 4-1.
On the pitching side of things, Nick Pivetta went 7. Mason Miller worked out of a jam in the 8th inning, a scoreless Padres debut. It was time for Mr. Robert Suarez in the 9th.
Scott leading at first base. 0-1 to Herrera. The pitch is hit hard on the ground. Right to Machado. He's got it. To second, that's 1. Cronenworth's turn to first is in time. And a double play to end the game. Robert Suarez, his major league leading 31st save of the season. after Mason Miller worked a scoreless 8th, after Nick Pivetta threw 7 brilliant innings. And game 1 after the trade deadline is a 4-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
A really nice night for the Padres yesterday, a 6th win in a row, and now they go for 7 consecutive wins here today. The middle game of this 3-game series coming up at 7:10. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
All right, Jesse, let's talk about what's happened the last 24, 48 hours. Obviously, a thrilling trade deadline. So many new exciting faces inside that Padres clubhouse. How do you assess what happened at the deadline and then roll that into what the vibe of last night was?
Oh, man, last night it was a vibe. That's probably the best way to talk about it. It was just exciting. I think we talked about it being a little bit almost like opening day 2.0. It started a new chapter of the 2025 season. And obviously, because of what happened at the deadline the day before, we had that feel last night. And, look, AJ Preller. Is there any other way to say it? He went out there. He addressed the needs that he had and then some. And that's probably what we should have expected all along from AJ Preller. And I think, frankly, most of us who follow this team even a little bit closely expected that. AJ's going to go out there. He's going to address anything he sees as even potentially deficient. And then he's also going to try and add to some strengths. And the bullpen is the clear example of that. Bring in a guy like Ryan O'Hearn who can do some of the things Gavin Sheets can do just to make the bench that much better. You're going to have, some nights where both of those guys are in the lineup. Some nights where neither of those guys is in the lineup. Some nights when one of them is going to be in the lineup. And those are two incredibly dangerous bats for Mike Shildt to be able to go and play with. And for Shildt, it was, Christmas, right? I mean, just big presents underneath the tree that he can go and play with every single night. And that led to the excitement and the feel of last night's game. And it should really be some kind of wave that the Padres get to ride here throughout the rest of the regular season.
Jesse, let's talk about one of the new guys that we did not see last night, but that is in the lineup today, and that is catcher Freddy Fermin. You know what? You look at his offensive numbers, certainly a big upgrade compared to what the Padres were getting there at catcher, although Elias Diaz has been a lot better as of late. I think the interesting thing, too, about Fermin, Jesse, and I'm sure you've heard the same, this was a guy that was really, really well liked and valued in Kansas City, and we talk about all these new faces getting acclimated. Hey, a catcher coming to a brand new team with a brand new staff, and he's also expected to hit. Pretty good things, I think, we're hearing about Freddy Fermin.
Hearing great things about him. I got my first text from a Royals friend almost, 12 seconds after the news of the trade first broke. And was just, telling me all about what a wonderful, wonderful guy he is and how there are going to be tears shed throughout the Royals organization for Freddy Fermin leaving. I mean, and that does tell you just about everything you need to know. But look, you said it, man. It's not an easy assignment for a catcher. He's never worked with Randy Vasquez before. And now those two guys got to go out there and do their thing here tonight. Is it impossible? Of course not. But it's a very real challenge for a catcher coming to a new organization. And look, this is a guy, he's been around. He's 30 years old. At the time before his trade the other day, he was the second most tenured guy in the Royals organization, second only to Salvador Perez, the guy he backed up. And for Fermin, forever blocked, right, at his position because of the future Hall of Famer in Kansas City. And so now an opportunity to get a little bit more playing time, to be kind of shot-putted into a situation where this team is going to be playing meaningful baseball every night, hopefully for several more months, deep into October. And so it's got to be something that's a great and exciting feeling for him. And, look, it's not easy getting all these guys coming in, particularly, look, in some cases, some of the new guys are going to have playing time that is maybe less than what they had. I'm not saying that's going to be the case for Fermin, but, it's all about winning. And so to get a guy and a collection of guys coming in here who are as single-minded about winning as everybody else in that clubhouse is a big deal. And I think that's probably the most important thing when you talk about makeup, chemistry, all that kind of stuff. Are you bringing in guys as obsessed with trying to win a World Series as everybody who's already here? If the answer is yes, the rest of it kind of takes care of itself.
Jesse, well said. Should be fun to see Fermin, Laureano, O'Hearn all in the lineup today. Randy Vasquez, as you said, on the mound for the Padres. We'll talk to you and Tony coming up at the top of the hour at 7 p.m. As always, thanks so much.
You got it, Sam.
All right, that's Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 7:10, Padres going for a 7th consecutive win, and we'll see if they can get it today. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres, and right-hander Michael McGreevy, who the Padres beat up pretty good last time they saw him. He's on the mound today for St. Louis. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, a little bit later, we hear from Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Freddy Fermin. We continue to introduce you to all these new guys in the brown and gold as the Padres continue this 6-game homestand and 3-game series. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 7:10 between the Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals. Padres looking for a 7th consecutive win. As always, a lot of good food and drink here at Petco Park. A lot of people here inside the Western Metal Building enjoying their beers and their mixed drinks. I have a lady in front of me enjoying the banana bread pudding inside the Western Metal Building. I'd like to point out, she's eating the banana bread pudding inside the replica Western Metal Supply Company building. You're eating it in the building. I mean, that's pretty cool. So you're eating the pudding in the building. So very, very cool. By the way, just so you know, there are 2 locations for those of you wondering on the way to the game right now. There are 2 locations where you can get that banana bread pudding. You can get it downstairs, first level, Seaside Market, or breaking news, a second location has opened behind home plate, second level, terrace level in front of Puesto. So there are now 2 locations where you can get that banana bread pudding. I know a lot of you are curious about that banana bread pudding. Taking a look at the Padres lineup here today, it looks like this. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off. He's in right field. Luis Ariz at first base, batting second. Manny Machado at third base, batting third. Jackson Merrill in center, batting cleanup. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, batting fifth. Ryan O'Hearn getting his first start as a Padre, DHing and batting sixth. Ramon Laureano in left field, batting seventh. Jake Cronenworth at second base, batting eighth. And Freddy Fermin making his Padres debut behind the plate and batting ninth with right-hander Randy Vasquez on the hill. With all that in mind, let's go downstairs and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
How'd you feel about last night getting to integrate some of the new faces in there?
I thought it was fantastic. First of all, Nicky did a great job. Set up Miller for the eighth, and he was able to get the double play ball, and that was huge. And get a chance to get his feet wet, get a chance to experience beautiful Petco Park. Really pleased with the way Laureano played the game, like the way he plays the game. Later in the game, he didn't get a hit. Well, he moved a runner late in the game, gave us a chance to add on. Like the intent there without having to be encouraged to do it. Just did it because he looks like he's going to be a winning type player. And Ahern comes in and gets indoctrinated with a hit by pitch. And then he takes a good bat and barrels the ball and squares the ball to center. And it looks like he's clearly going to help as well. So those 2 guys have already provided the opportunity to help us win a game.
Pivetta said after the game last night that he thought it was important that you guys win last night. Was there a significance to getting this group together and kind of keeping things rolling after the deadline?
Yeah, I think it's important for the group to come in and get a chance to shake hands together. I think there's clearly some merit in that. I think there's significance and importance to win every game.
Yeah. Freddy Fermin making his Padres debut tonight. What excites you about what he can bring to this group?
Quite a bit, actually. I've had the privilege of watching Freddie play across the way for a period of time, and I just have always liked this guy's game. I like his energy. I like his way he receives. I think he's smart. He can really throw. He takes a really tough at bat. There's just a lot to like about Freddy Fermin. I'm really, really excited about him being on our side.
Randy Vasquez, the last handful of starts, maybe he hasn't gone the length that he went earlier in the season, but the results have been really good, keeping you in ball games. As he gets deeper into this season, what continues to impress you about Randy's year?
The ability to give us a chance to win a ball game. That's the ultimate reason we're here. And Randy's done a nice job with that. He's able to make pitches when he needs to. He's able to make pitches against righties and lefties. And he's given us a chance to be in a game and let our bullpen bring it home.
Mike, you've been a part of obviously, a bunch of trade deadlines now in your career. When a group of new talented guys can walk in the clubhouse, is it, an injection of energy? I mean, what's that like seeing that when that happens?
It's a lot of things. Yeah, it's an injection of, I'd say energy, but we have energy. Our group plays with energy. Our group is already gets out and gets after it every day. So, but yeah, when you have guys like, name them all: Miller, Laureano, O'Hearn, Sears. All these guys walk in the clubhouse, Miller, obviously. It's a statement that AJ and the organization made that we're, ready to take it to the next level. So that always energizes teams even more. But, the biggest thing I was pleased about was the integration. When you have that number of people come in, it's a real opportunity to see how strong your culture is and how clear the identity of our teams are. Our teams, identities are. And so I was really, really, really pleased with our clubhouse and how they acclimated these guys to go and be ready to go perform, because, it's still a transition for these guys coming to a different city, different clubhouse, different organization. And the players and the staff, I thought did a nice job helping acclimate everybody.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Mike on our postgame coverage coming up later on this evening. Sam Levitt back with you inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Padres looking for a 7th consecutive win. The loft is absolutely rocking. People having fun. People ready to go for Padres baseball right now following an exciting trade deadline and obviously a nice win in yesterday's series opener. We'll hear from new Padres outfielder Ramon Laureano in just a moment. First, let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Couple of quick headlines for you. Red Sox right-hander Tanner Houck's attempt to come back this season is over. According to Red Sox manager Alex Cora, Houck will undergo Tommy John surgery. He was an all-star last season, went on the IL in mid-May with a right flexor strain, and he will undergo Tommy John to end his season. Rangers putting outfielder Evan Carter on the 10-day IL earlier today because of back spasms. And finally, a really nice tribute from the Chicago Cubs earlier today at Wrigley Field for the Cubs playing this afternoon. Cubs players ran out to their positions today. No names and no different numbers on the back of their jerseys. They all wore number 23 in honor of Hall of Famer and Cubs icon Ryne Sandberg, who passed away earlier this week. It was a really wonderful tribute to Ryne Sandberg in that Cubs game against the Orioles. So I encourage you to go see some of the images from that, and that's a quick look at some headlines from around the major leagues. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later. Well, Ramon Laureano made his Padres debut yesterday. Didn't have a hit, but certainly was productive in other ways. Laureano had been in the midst of a really nice season with the Baltimore Orioles at the time of the trade on Thursday. Here was Ramon Laureano inside the clubhouse. When you found out you were coming to the Padres, what was your reaction?
It's a legit ball club and ready to go.
What do you feel like you can bring to this team, both offensively and defensively?
I can bring just a human being that wants to win.
Is it a pretty good boost when you go from the team in Baltimore to this team that clearly is going for it all?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're pretty excited overall and ready to go for it.
Does it feel better coming with a teammate also?
Yeah, feels pretty fun. Yeah.
When did you hear about the trade?
Whenever, I guess, like 10 minutes before the media on Twitter.
Who told you? On Twitter?
Yeah. No. Mike Elias, the GM for,
What was that conversation like?
Great. I mean, you understand the situation. I've been in the league enough to understand the situations, and you totally understand it.
What jumps out to you about the type of talent, offensive talent that's on this team?
Baseball players, and that's all. That's what I like.
That was Ramon Laureano inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Actually, that was yesterday. Laureano speaking to me and the media. Laureano coming in batting .285, 15 home runs back in there today in left field and batting 7th. When we come back, we'll hear from two other new Padres in the lineup today, both getting their first starts in the brown and gold. Brian O'Hearn DHing, Freddy Fermin behind the plate. We also have our keys to the game, a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Coming up later, a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Randy Vasquez and Michael McGreevy. First pitch coming up at 7:10 right here from downtown San Diego on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, my friends. It's Woodsy. Did you know your water quality?
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 7:10 as the Padres go for a 7th straight win. Game 2 of this 3-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres today. He goes up against young right-hander Michael McGreevy on the mound for St. Louis. We'll hear from Ryan O'Hearn and Freddy Fermin in just a little bit. First, let's update you on some injuries pertaining to this series, and also one big Padres pitcher is on his way back.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, as far as this series for the Cardinals, Nolan Arenado was placed on the IL with a shoulder strain yesterday. It was an issue that had bothered him for weeks, and it doesn't sound great. Sounds like there's a possibility Arenado might miss the rest of the season. Nolan Gorman, who had been dealing with a back injury, was returned from the IL yesterday, played in yesterday's game, also committed a big error in yesterday's game at third base. As far as the Padres, nothing pertaining to this series, however. Michael King is set to make a rehab start with AAA El Paso tomorrow, marking another significant step as Michael King works his way back. So again, King set to make a rehab start tomorrow with AAA El Paso. We'll be keeping a very close eye on that. And that's a look at our injury report before Game 2 of this 3-game series. Well, Freddy Fermin, as I talked about with Jesse a little bit earlier, really glowing reviews for what he will bring to the Padres in the catching position. Fermin did not appear in yesterday's game, but he is in the lineup here today for the Padres, batting 9th and behind the plate, doing the catching for Randy Vasquez. Here was Freddy Fermin inside the clubhouse alongside interpreter Jorge Merlos.
What are you looking forward to the most about being in San Diego?
¿Qué es lo que estás pensando en hacer acá o lo que esperas hacer acá en San Diego?
Mira, yo siempre lo he dicho, es aportar un granito de arena al equipo, siempre mantener el clubhouse con buena vibra y nada, la meta es llegar a los playoffs y ganar la Serie Mundial, y ese es para mí es lo que puedo aportar y lo que quisiera aportar.
You know what? I normally say that I'm just a little grain of sand in this whole thing, right? And so for me, it's just to contribute as best as I can to this team, as way as I can, and have a good vibe in this clubhouse as well. That's what's going to contribute for this team.
What have you gained learning under Salvador Perez, and what kind of opportunity does this open up for you?
¿Qué es ese aprendizaje que te dio El Salvador desde mucho tiempo y qué esta oportunidad significa ahora?
Mira, yo como lo dije, una persona muy respetada, lo respeto mucho, es un honor para mí, fue un honor para mí estar al lado de él, aprendí mucho, cómo trabaja, cómo se prepara, cómo conversamos, aprendí mucho y nada, toca ahora aprender más cada día, aquí ahora con los padres y no, de verdad bien contento por esa experiencia con Salvador.
He's just a very respectful guy, like everything from how we train, how we talk to each other, everything I learned from him. I give him so much respect for everything that he's done and what he's been able to teach me. But now I have to learn a little bit more here with the Padres, right? And so just learning all the things that I did there and taking it now into here.
What do you think about the level of talent that's in this clubhouse and some of your new teammates?
Y el talento que tenemos aquí ahora en el clubhouse, que pesar de lo que es el equipo.
Mira, sí, bien contento, muchos jugadores muy con talento y de verdad es un honor para mí estar al lado de personas como ellos y nada, bien contento de estar aquí, de verdad, como te dije, dar lo mejor de mí y tratar de ganar lo que se quiere, que es la Serie Mundial.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. These guys have a lot of talent out here. There's a lot of good things that are happening in here. And, like I said before, I just want to contribute as best as I can to get to the postseason and win a World Series championship.
That was new Padres catcher Freddy Fermin inside the clubhouse as Fermin gets ready to make his first start as a San Diego Padre. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 7:10 as the Padres go for a 7th consecutive win. Should be a lot of fun. Everybody having a good time here inside the Western Metal Building. Randy Vasquez on the mound today for the Padres. That's who will be pitching to Freddy Fermin. Let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number 1, an amazing Arise. Luis Arise is in the midst of a 14-game hitting streak, the longest active streak in the major leagues. He's batting .411 in that span with 10 runs scored. Believe it or not, it's tied for the longest hit streak of his career. So if Luis has a base hit tonight, he will officially have a 15-game hitting streak for the first time ever in his major league career. Arise has also been great against the Cardinals in particular. He's batting .388 with 8 extra base hits and 15 runs scored in his last 19 games against the Cardinals going back to the start of 2023. Key number 2, a marvelous Manny. Manny Machado is now hitting .500 with 6 extra base hits and 11 RBIs during a 9-game hitting streak. He's now tied for the most hits in the National League this year. Key number 3, a run machine, Merrill. Jackson Merrill has 14 RBIs in his last 15 games. And guess what? Merrill had a 2-run single in last night's 4-1 win. And key number 4, this is a big one. Contain Contreras, Wilson Contreras, including last night, his 5 games against the Padres this season. He's 5 for 13, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and 3 hit by pitches. He's one of the few guys that you're really scared of in this Cardinal lineup. Padres have got to do a good job at not allowing Contreras to be the one to beat him the rest of this series. And that's a look at our keys to tonight's game. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what's been going on around the majors.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of finals already today. The Rangers beat the Mariners 6-4 in Seattle. The final in 11. Wyatt Langford hit an RBI single in that 11th inning to propel the Rangers to a 6-4 win. Mets beat the Giants 12-6 in New York. Pete Alonso hitting his 250th career home run in that win for the Mets. Mets snapping a 4-game skid. Marlins beat the Yankees again. And, you got to watch some of this Yankees stuff right now. Talk about just sloppy baseball. Marlins won a game 13-12 last night. They win today 2-0, and now Miami will go for a sweep of the Yankees tomorrow. Guardians beat the Twins 5-4 in Cleveland earlier today. Red Sox beat the Astros 7-3 at Fenway. Brewers beat the Nationals 8-2 in D.C. Tigers beat the Phillies 7-5 in Philadelphia. Rockies beat the Pirates 8-5 in Colorado. Blue Jays beat the Royals 4-2 in Toronto. Orioles beat the Cubs 4-3. Gunnar Henderson, a big 3-run home run late in that game to propel Baltimore. Rays beat the Dodgers 4-0 in Tampa Bay. Yandy Diaz had 2 home runs in that game, both given up by former Padre Blake Snell. One game going on right now. It's the Braves and the Reds in the first inning in Cincinnati. That is the MLB Speedway Classic being held at Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. Right? That's in Tennessee. Please tell me that's in Bristol, Tennessee, right? Bristol Motor Speedway. Hold on. I'm not a racing guy. I got to double check here. Bristol, Tennessee. First ever major league game, I believe, held in the state of Tennessee. Don't quote me on that, but I think I saw that somewhere. I should know that. I'm sorry. Anyway, Braves and the Reds are scoreless in that MLB Speedway Classic just underway in Bristol, Tennessee. Diamondbacks and the A's in Sacramento coming up at 7:05. White Sox and the Angels at 7:07 in Anaheim. And that's it. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday. When we return, we hear from today's DH, Ryan O'Hearn, plus we tell you what to watch for in today's game and a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Randy Vasquez and Michael McGreevy. First pitch coming up at 7:10 right here on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the Eco.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up in just a little bit at 7:10. We go to Jesse and Tony inside the booth in just about 10 minutes. I did leave something off today's injury report that I really should have put on. It's my mistake. Lars Nootbaar for the St. Louis Cardinals is back in the lineup today, playing right field and batting fifth. Nootbaar was activated today from the 10-day IL. He missed 15 games with a rib cage issue. So Nootbaar, good player, back in the lineup today, 12 home runs, hitting just 227 on the year, but is a guy who can provide some pop. He is back in the St. Louis lineup today. Again, that should have been in the injury report. My error for not including that. But now you know Lars Nootbaar in the lineup today for St. Louis. Let's tell you what to watch for in Game 2 of this 3-game set.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in tonight's game. We've talked so much about how good the Padres bullpen has been all year and as of late, and now with the new addition of Mason Miller. Miller a scoreless inning yesterday. Suarez a scoreless inning, 2 scoreless innings for the pen. Surprise, surprise. However, one thing they continue to do incredibly well, During this 6-game winning streak, the Padres pitching staff has held opponents to going just 1 for 22 with runners in scoring position. So this number goes beyond the bullpen, and it includes the starters too. Again, during this 6-game win streak, opposing teams have only 1 hit in 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position. On the season, the Padres have been really good in this department. They've held opponents to the 3rd lowest average with runners in scoring position in the National League at 238. So what to watch for here tonight? Can the Padres keep doing that when other teams threaten, and they will threaten, of course, from time to time at least? Can they continue to strand base runners? That's what to watch for in tonight's game as we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game set. Well, another thing to keep an eye on, the first start in the brown and gold for Ryan O'Hearn, DHing. He comes in batting .282, 13 home runs on the season with the Baltimore Orioles. Ryan O'Hearn spoke with the media inside the clubhouse. Here was O'Hearn on what the last couple of days have been like for him.
Hectic, but I kind of prepared myself a little bit for it, and I couldn't be more excited to come here and get to play baseball in paradise.
When you found out it was the Padres, what was your reaction?
Excited. Really good team. A lot of amazingly talented players on this team, veterans. The team, especially after yesterday, is absolutely loaded. But yeah, very excited to come here. Help out and fill in wherever I can.
What do you think you'll bring to this team? What do you hope to add?
I'm going to play hard every day. I like to put the ball in play. I don't like to strike out. I like to get after it, hustle. I'm just going to show up and play hard every day and be myself and do whatever I can to help the team win.
How much does it help to have Ramon come with you, to have someone that you know walking with you?
Yeah, it helps. I mean, there's I have some familiarity with some guys on this team. Bryce Johnson, Jason Adam. I played with Freddy Fermin. And then obviously Ramon coming over too. It definitely helps to have some familiar faces, but you just meet everybody you can and soak it in and just take it one day at a time.
Tyler raved about Freddy Fermin's makeup. What can you tell us from that standpoint?
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I got to see, firsthand Freddy when he was 18 years old in the Royals organization and just how hard he worked. Him following Salvi around, turning into little mini Salvi, which is pretty cool to see, him a little bit more grown up and doing what he's doing. And obviously a really good player, hard worker, great makeup, like you said. So excited to play with him again.
This is a team that's got some playoff experience and is clearly going for it again. What does it mean to join a group like that?
It's exciting. I think ultimately that's what every player plays for, a chance to win a ring. And, coming across the country to a team like this and in a division race like this is exciting. And, like I said, one day at a time, but, I think the sky's the limit for this team. And I'm excited to see, where I fit in.
How did you follow the final day of the trade deadline? Were you surprised that it was the Padres of all the teams that may have interest?
I mean, I didn't know. I heard rumors about a bunch of teams, but at some point you kind of, zone out off of that. And I don't want to live in the hypotheticals. I want to just kind of wait and see, where I was going to be. So when I heard, San Diego, obviously very excited with how good the team is and, get to come here and play in a beautiful ballpark in front of, 45,000 people every night or whatever it may be. So very excited to hear when it was San Diego.
That was today's Padres DH, Ryan O'Hearn, inside the Padres clubhouse. O'Hearn making his first start in the brown and gold here tonight. First pitch coming up at 7:10. Our starting pitching matchup, Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres, Michael McGreevy on the mound for St. Louis. Let's dive in.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
26-year-old right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres today. Here in 2025, he's 3-4 with a 3.65 ERA, 21 starts, 103 2/3 innings on the year, 52 strikeouts, 48 walks. His last start against the Cardinals in St. Louis, he went 4 innings and 2/3, 1 earned run given up, 1 hit. Randy has only got 5 innings in 1 of his last 4 starts, but when he's in there, doing a good job, a 2.79 ERA in those 4 outings. Padres, by the way, have won each of Randy Vasquez's last 5 starts, although Randy has not earned the victory in any of them. Maybe that can change here tonight. Meanwhile, right-hander Michael McGreevy on the mound for St. Louis. He grew up in San Clemente, went to UC Santa Barbara, 18th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Padres hit him very hard in his last start on Sunday in St. Louis. He went 4 innings and 2/3, 9 hits, and 7 runs given up. He comes in a 4.91 ERA in 6 outings on the year, 33 innings. He struck out 19 and walked 18, a 269 opponent batting average this season in the major leagues. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup here today. A couple of young right-handers going at it. Michael McGreevy on the mound for St. Louis and Randy Vasquez on the mound for San Diego. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups. First pitch and all the play-by-play as the Padres go for a 7th consecutive win. I'll join you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the thought of a home remodel, don't stress. The Window Depot is here to help. At the Window Depot, we're your one-stop warehouse for everything